Welcome to the very first session of Exubez Explore the Depths. Exubez as a channel is supposed to explore the deep subjects in electronics, but then today we're going to discuss about electricity because both of them are highly interdependent. I want to bring in an example of human body system. You might be wondering why these pictures are here because this is an electronic class. However, the point that I want to bring in is that the heart is the source of our blood circulation system, right? Because the blood need to be transferred from one place to another place. It need to be pumped from one place to another place so that the necessary functions of the body works very well. Similarly, there is going to be a source or a generation place for the electricity as well. And then from the heart, it distributes through the blood vessels to every part and organs of your body so that everything works very well. Similarly, there is going to be a distribution that takes the electricity from the source to the necessary places. And if I zoom into one organ, maybe a hand or a head or a leg, that's the destination of these blood vessels. Similarly, the electricity is distributed to some destination. It could be a home, it could be a factory, it could be any place where the electricity is needed. But then if I have a deeper look into the hand, I'm gonna see a lot of very minute and tiny capillaries or very tiny blood vessels, which actually gives the blood to the every depth of this particular hand or any organ. Similarly, in the home, you're gonna have this wall plug, something like this. You're very familiar with this plug where the electricity is available, maybe 230 volt is available, which is then connected to the equipment through a couple of wires or sometimes 3 wires. We're gonna discuss all these concepts in very detail, but for now the electricity is generated and then it is distributed to the destination, and in the destination you're gonna connect that to the electronic equipment. Comparing the electronic equipment to the hand, in hand, as I said, there are a lot of minor capillaries and tubes and vessels and all that. Similarly, in an equipment, you're gonna have plenty of such smaller distribution of electricity. Most often it is seen in a green board. We call this as PCBs or circuit boards. You're gonna see a lot of tracks and ICs and various type of components. So this is where actually the electricity is getting utilized to run an electronic equipment, right? So without the electricity, can an electronic equipment run? No. There has to be some form of electricity. Either it is distributed, as we explained just now, from a generating source, or it has to be from a battery, from some source. To simplify things, our intention was to give a comparison from electronic subject to electric subjects. Electrical is more of dealing with the generation as well as distribution of electricity to the destination, and electronics is where how the electricity is used. So electronics has got much more control over the flow of electric power, and that's what basically it does. Moving ahead, let's look at some of the science behind electricity. In order to explain that, we need to recall the atomic structure. Before that, what's an atom? As you know, atom is the most fundamental element of any material in the universe. Anything and everything in the universe, from stars to trees to animals to the human bodies to plastics and anything that you know of in the universe, it's all made of atom. But if you look atom more closely, then you're gonna see a structure somewhat like this with respect to the element. These two structures are one and the same thing. The left side one is more of a 3D view and the blue one is basically a 2D view. In the atom, at the center, you're gonna have something called as nucleus, where the protons and neutrons are seen. And from this, very far from the nucleus, in these shells, that's where the electrons are seen, which is kind of moving around the nucleus. Now the protons is positively charged and the electrons is negatively charged, which are equally positive and negatively charged. So if the number of protons and electrons is same, then the material does not have any charge because it cancels out. Now if you look at more closer, let's have our attention in this figure. Assume that you're gonna have one more shell which is far from the nucleus. As long as it is closer to the nucleus, then it's gonna have a tight coupling from proton to electron because opposite charges attract each other. But as you get far from the nucleus, as the electrons gets far from the nucleus, its coupling or the attraction towards the nucleus has gone down. That means it's easy for you to push out from this orbits so that you get a free electron in an atom. If such free electrons exist in an atom or in an element on a material, then that means you have something which is very much needed for the electricity to flow. Or in other words, the flow of electrons is called as electricity. Right? So this is how fundamentally the electricity is. Now when you apply electricity to certain material, if that conducts the current, if that conducts the electricity, then now you know that there's gonna be a lot of free electrons in an atomic level itself. Well, we discussed about fundamentals of electricity, and we also discussed about how electronics is related to electricity. This was actually the intention of this particular class, and hope you understands it. If you have any comments and suggestions and questions, please post that in the comment box. See you in the next video with slightly advanced topic.